Hello, guys. This is Nikki, you also known as Faces Trader, and you're watching the Awesome 10X live show. Today it's August 2020, and it is a Philippine market update. So we begin with the Philippine market. So, what is the most important news for the day? This one might be the headlines. The Senate prepares to ratify Bayanihan 2 on August 20. So let's read the Philippine update. The Senate is expected to ratify on Thursday the reconciled version of the proposed Bayanihan to Recover as One Act for the Bayanihan 2 bill, laying out the country's COVID response and recovery plan. Members of the BICAM will likely finish reconciling with House versions of with Senator Angara on the Bayanihan 2. Senator Angara said on the Senate plenary session. Subject to to how my colleagues feel, we only have 10 to 12 provisions left. Among the provisions included are a 15,000 peso cash aid to medical frontliners who contracted a mild infection of the coronavirus, a one-time cash assistance for the teaching and non-teaching personnel in private schools, as well as the part-time faculty members in state universities and colleges. BICAM approved the funding for COVID-19 testing, loan condonation for agrarian reform beneficiaries. They're also putting a measure 60-day extension for loan payments during the pandemic and a 3-year suspension of permits to build cell phone towers. There's a great possibility of finishing it tonight or tomorrow morning. Senate Majority Leader Juan Miguel Zubiri raised the possibility of ratifying the Bayanihan 2 measure. We can ratify this by tomorrow afternoon and we'll be complete discussing it by tonight. So this 60-day extension is, of course, affecting your financials. We will discuss that 60-day extension for loan payments later on. And then let's read it together. It says that we don't have to wait for next week. Let's pass this immediately. Members have already agreed on a $162 billion funding. However, only 140 billion pesos will be readily available. Once the Congress ratifies the reconciled measure, it will be transmitted to President Rodrigo Duterte for his signature. Okay, so that is your big news today. There's also news that, of course, Ayala Land will be offering bonds again. Let's take a look at that news. Let's read first mga news, guys. Business news muna tayo. Let's see. So Ayala Land actually has a bond issuance. Basa lang muna tayo, dear. Okay. Ayala's bond issuance. So 13 hours ago, Ayala is tapping all the investment banks for its bond issuance. So what does a big company with access to capital and easy money do? Of course, take advantage. So Ayala Land, listed property arm of Ayala Corp, has mandated five banks for a 5-year fixed-rated bond issuance. Ayala said tap BDO Capital, BPI, China Bank, First Metro, and Security Bank Capital as joint lead underwriters and book runners for this issue. Ayala is offering 6.25 billion pesos 5-year fixed-rate bonds. This will be the 5th tranche of its 50 billion securities program. The offer is going to have a yield of at least, this is the first of its kind in the Philippine peso debt capital markets. In joint, okay, let's see. Ayala Land is paying 4.625% to end that securities for their 2020 bond issuance. So holders of the October 2020 bonds without obligation may be able to fully or partially exchange the ratio 1:1. All holders of October 2020 bonds, depending So basically, they are making a new issuance. So with cheap money sloshing around, I think the banks just want to take advantage and the properties also want to take advantage. So this is actually positive for Ayala Land, and this is actually positive for the banks. For the lazy people who wants I think the yield will be about 4% net. So for the people who wants a 4% interest rate, Ayala Land is willing to give you 4% in exchange for the bonds. Now, of course, here in Awesome 10X channel, we try to deliver to you more than 10% moves, not just a 4%. So it really depends on the listener out there on whether 4% is attractive for you. Yeah, so that is a very passive investment on Ayala's part, and Ayala, of course, will not default. So people who wants more than 0 interest rate can, of course, avail of Ayala's bonds. San Miguel is also tapping a lot of issuance. Let's take a look at San Miguel. We, of course, said that San Miguel is also going to take advantage of cheap money globally. We've been saying that for quite a while now. If you've been reading the news, you know that San Miguel wants that. 2019, July, they were raising $500 million. I think San Miguel finally got a bond 3 weeks ago, listing 500 million bonds. First, this is Philinvest Development, also planning dollar bond offering. San Miguel. Let me see. San Miguel news. So, to, 40 billion pesos preferred shares. So let's read it together, guys. Okay, so San Miguel is planning a public offering. San Miguel is filing an exchange of 40 billion pesos worth of preferreds offering within 3 years. So you know that already San Miguel has borrowed money and they are just borrowing again. 533 billion pesos is the planned offering, up to 267 million shares at 75 pesos for a total of 20 billion pesos. Initial offer, 10 billion. Series 2, another 10 billion. So, parang 10 years time na tayo, no? I think this is, 3 years? So, of course, you can recall that in the last, I think 5 to 7 years ago, San Miguel also borrowed money. So, this is really just a way for San Miguel to reiterate cheap money globally. So they are going to use that cheap money for investment to its San Miguel Food and Beverage. That would be their Pure Foods. Their businesses as in SMC Global Power, San Miguel Holdings, San Miguel Properties, Petron. So they are tapping, again, the banks, BDO, BPI, China Bank, Philippine Commercial Capital, PNB, RCBC as Security Bank as joint issue managers, underwriters, and book runners. So San Miguel is saying that they reported a net loss of 4 billion for the first half of 2020 from earning 26 billion last year due to the lockdown of alcohol ban. Of course, San Miguel Brewery had suffered. Recorded revenues was falling 30% lower to 350 billion. Income declined 74% to 14 billion. However, they think that there will be a rebound in their business in the second half of 2020. And recent reimposition of restrictions, they believe that the country can recover and so forth. So as you can see, if you are a big tycoon and a big giant, you are always able to access cheap money. And they're just really taking advantage of all the cheap money globally from the lazy people who wants their money parked in these bonds. And so that's just really happening. So San Miguel and Ayala, they're taking advantage. Even the banks are taking advantage of this. Of course, as an issuer, they do make money from those bonds. I think they take a 1% cut. So that's how they make money from those issuance. And they offer it to investors who want an alternative yield for their cash to earn more than 0%. So those are being offered to the corporates and the local out there. So let's take a look at the Wealth platform. This is the Wealth Tech Premier platform. Of course, you could avail of online Philippine companies. Market value is 3.9 billion. That is a decline. Last few days, we were getting 5 billion. So today, it's 25% lower market traded. You've got foreign net selling 357 million. More decliners today, 131. Advancers, 64. As you could see from an index standpoint, PSEI is down, all shares down, financials down, industrials down, holdings down, properties down, and then mining down, services down. So basically, all your industries are down. Gainers, very few. Ayala, Aboitiz Power, BPI, Bloomberry, San Miguel, pretty much unchanged, halos. And then more losers. Metrobank down 3%, AGI down 3%, BDO down 3%. So your banks are suffering today. Of course, yesterday BPI fell already, so it didn't get a drop today. So today, most of your banks followed through to the downside. And I guess it has to do with that extension of loan payments. So in a way, it's actually good for the consumers that we are having an extension of loan payments, but it's a bit bad for the banks, right? So yun. Now, from an index standpoint, so we have seen a lot of decliners. Let's see the statistics first. So from a stats perspective, what are the few gainers? Okay, your Mary Mart speculative issue goes from 314 to 325, and then all the rest are not going up. This is the other one up. Asen, okay, so that's good. After investing billions to solar farms in the country, the market continued to buy and patronize AC Energy. And so AC Energy is now trading at 276. It hasn't hit $3, but can it hit $3? So let's see what else. Most active traded, mostly on the downside, more reds than greens. You could see that the big guns are falling down 3%. So your BDO is down 89.05. Your financials went down today. Your Metro Bank fell down as well to 34.7. Your retailers, your SM Pure Gold is steady. SM is unchanged. Your Pure Gold is at 51. Your Mary Mart, the startup wants to be pasikat. It's up today, 3.5%. Mary Mart is trading at 325. Your renewable energy, medyo malakas today, 1.85%, just a continuation of their gains. Some of the strong ones are your Manila Water, 13.6, up 4% today. Meralco is down, back to 270. So it has been trading in a stable range, 260 to 280. Any drops near 260 below is a buying opportunity. Any rallies above 275 to 280 always being sold. So, yun, today, drop yung mga AGI, down 3%. So, a lot of more selling today than buying. ICT falls a bit, unchanged 108. So, medyo durog lang, no? Durog yung mga market today. Where's losers? Let's see. Ano yung pinakamalaking tinapunan? This is Metro Bank. Okay, so Metro Bank financials falls. Nicolasia falling down 3%, 293. So, so far, ever since rallying from about 320, now it's fallen more than 22 cents, no? So, it has fallen mostly about 29 cents already. So Nicolasia 293, those who sold at 322, they didn't get their dividends. They can now buy back at 290 to 260. Let's see how low Nicolasia goes. So that is the ex-dividend effect. Okay, so AGI 6.2. Your green down 3%. Yeah. So ano nangyari sa mga Axelum kahapon? Tsaka yung CHP, wala naman nangyari. Up lang kahapon, tapos walang follow-through. AXLM, down 2%, wala. CHP, wala naman. So, hindi. Nothing happened in them. Okay, so let's go to the charts. Close to. So, yeah, isa-isahin natin. Very few lang naman. So, the banks, BPI, BDO. So, the bicameral committee is trying to help the consumers. That is their COVID relief response. So, so that's your hindrance why your banks today are down. But it's just a 60-day rule. So, that's about 2 months. So, good siya for the consumers, di ba? At least hindi ka ma-penalty. So, there's a loan extension, prepayment plan. So, right now, yeah, BPI is falling down. So, it's now at 63.50. It is still above your 61. Could it go to about 58, 57? So, there is a support at 57, 58. So, either way, wala naman. Andyan lang yan. Okay, so BDO, binagsakan today, 89. Yun. So, it's still above that 85. Let's see how that goes. Your East West is still at $8. Actually, surprise, surprise. It is one of the strongest financials. The chart is also strong. It has gone from about 7 to 8.15. Isn't dropping. So, but no volume though. That's a problem. No volume. Security Bank, 98. Dun pa rin, 96.50. So, matibay pa naman, the banks. Metro Bank fell a bit, a lot. Hindi pala a bit, a lot. So, 36 down to 34.70. But it is still way within that range, 33 to 42 range. So, talagang mabagal the banks. Okay, how about your RHI? After hitting 66, bagsak today to 60. And okay, good, 66.35 pa rin. It's okay, at least it's still steady, 58 to 66. It's trying to catch up with your pure gold. So, ang sumisikat si Mary Mart, 325. Pero wala namang income. I mean, from what? Low base. 1.5 billion pesos yung sales, di ba? So, I don't know. Pwede naman umangat, pero 340, 350, 360. So, yun. Still speculative in my view. Now, gold, of course, has been taken profits from. So, Apex Mining, bagsak muna. Yun nga, we already saw that 170, 180 was a resistance. So naturally, bagsak din yan. It was just really 50-50 eh. It's either gold goes up or gold goes down. But at this point, you don't want to risk it eh. So with profit on the way, already profitable, lots of people took profit. So you could see people sold here at 170 above, or even at 160, they're still selling. Where will they enter? They'll probably enter 140 to 130 if they can. The question is, will it even fall? So that's a question on the gold. So if you look at the gold prices, it's just consolidating din eh. XAU-USD, after topping at 2,080, it's somewhere here at 2,000. If it's gonna be short-term, just profit-taking zone, you'll see that a lot of the hot money will go out. So they'll wait for their chance to enter back at 1,800, or if it doesn't go down, edi hindi na yan papasok, labas na sila. Okay, what's happening in gold is also, of course, translating in your XBT, which is your Bitcoin. After hitting 12,000, oops, tingnan natin kung meron siya dito. Wala ba? May resistance sa 12.1. 12.1, 12.2. O yan, 12.3. So, profit taking din. Di ba? Ito yung prior resistance mo. May resistance ka sa 12.3. O, tamaan mo muna. Pwede yan bumagsak 11K. So, profit taking to, profit pa rin. Hindi naman problema. Your prior support, your prior resistance of 11K here, or 10.8 will be your support. If you're a buyer, 10.8, 11K, marami na dyan buyer. So, yung Apex, ganun din yun, guys. 10% lang, maraming bibili niyan. So, 160, let's say, bagsakan ng 150 to 140, maraming buyer yan. 150 to 140. If you want to buy Apex Mining, 150 to 140. Similarly, if you want to buy gold, hintay ka lang, gold, give an entry near 1900 below, so 1944, some people will be willing to take advantage. I think they'll buy 1900 to 1800. So they'll wait, mga 1850. So just a 5 to 10% decline, you can get an entry point. So long term naman, up yan eh. So short term, it will drop. Long term, good. What's happening in all of your gold names? Ganun din. Sabay-sabay naman, correlated yan, no? Oh, GAO, Galiano Gold. After rallying from about 110 to 210, mabilis drop, mabilis nag-take profit, 156. Hindi nga nag-akyat ng 2 na ulit eh, 180. Okay, so if this one drops back to 140 or 130, mas maganda. The more gold falls, you will get an entry lower. Nag 100% move in a month eh. Yung mga yung mga Philex mining, ganun din, same lang, profit taking. Profit taking. Pag bumaba ng 270, 280, saka mo habulin, bili ka sa baba. Nickel-Asia, nickel mining. So this was an X-date play. So some people at 320 to 330, they sold na. Kahit hindi sila nagbenta sa 330, kahit 320. Dito pa lang, umaangat sa 320, lumalabas na yan eh. So they're entering here, 280. 40 cents lower, pwede na yan. So yung ba nakabenta sa 330, iba pasok na yan sa 290. Tapos kung bumaba ng 260, 270 yan, bibili yan. Kasi uptrend naman eh. Uptrend naman yung mga electric vehicle beneficiary eh. So steep slope na nga ngayon. So you might expect a harder drop. Let's see. Pero there's a lot of supporters here, 280 to 260. So you wanna enter near 260 to 280 if you're buying. Tsambahan din kung mabili mo. Kasi baka mamaya akyat na bukas eh. Tapos na yung X-date eh. So the X-date play was just a Nickel-Asia divs. Okay, so will that translate to the same thing effect for telephone? Wala nang X-date eh, wala nang dividend. So if the market falls, maybe PLDT can give an entry back to 1280 or 1320. So there will be some people who sold near 1400 or 1380, took their dividends already, and they want to buy back 1240 or 1280. So they'll wait. Wala eh. Wala masyado nangyari sa Pilipinas. So yun lang. Ayala Land, taking advantage of the cheap money. So any drops at about 30 below, kayang-kaya niyan. Kahit na net loss yan a few years from now, okay lang naman. Ayala yan eh. San Miguel also taking advantage of the cheap money globally. So if you're rich and you can take advantage of cheap money, I think it's normal for you to really take advantage. So Ayala Land is buying probably range lang, 29, pagangat 34, tinatapon na. What's happening with San Miguel? Wala, range lang, no? 90 to 100. Diyan lang. So pag mababa, 91, 95. Pag umangat, 100, 103, natutulog lang. So wala masyadong action. So yeah, the market in the Philippines, I'd say there's not much news, there's not much action. Wala. Kangkungan yung Pilipinas. If you want to make money, try to follow us on our global market updates. There will be more money to be made globally. Let's take a look at the comments. Are there questions? Hi, AC Energy, cash dividend, 4 centavos. Oh yeah, di maganda. Kahit naman walang dividends, gusto natin eh. Nagbigay pa ng dividends, edi better. FAD lang po ba ang EV? Yung mga electronic gadget, kailangan din ba ng nickel? Yung nickel, alam ko, very important sa battery storage, sa stainless steel, sa mga trains. So, maraming application yung nickel. Pero mostly, ang talagang biggest secular trend is EV. I don't think that EV is a fad. If you know that solar energy is the cheapest form of electricity, kung mas mura yan kaysa sa coal, kung mas mura sa oil, mas magugustuhan ng mundo to support the clean economy, clean energy. So I don't think it's a fad. It's practical, carbon emission free. All of the countries in the world have pledged carbon neutral by 2030 to 2050. So hindi yun fad. Hi Nikki, is IMI considered as a penny stock? IMI is AC Industrials. The problem with AC Industrials is OEM yan eh, di ba? And kalaban mo lahat ng mas magagaling na semiconductor companies. So, yun lang yun. Hindi siya nagsasucceed. Parang nangyari, Intel versus AMD, talo Intel. So, dead ball si Intel. Kung pangit yung business mo or kalaban mo magaling, humanda ka. So, I don't think that they're the leader in their industry. Kasi pag kalaban mo global giants, kailangan magaling ka eh. Red po ang BDO, AGI, and DPI. Down kasi ngayon market eh. Pero wala mang problema yan. Yung BDO and DPI, I guess like 85 is your support. Let's take a look at that. AGI is supported at 550, so let's take a look at that. Thank you for your videos every day. Salamat po for watching. Yeah, so I think in the Philippines, people were asking me, is it really hard times in the Philippines? Of course, yes, it's really hard times. So every company here is losing money. So you don't expect their stocks to actually rise except bargain hunting. So nevertheless, we aren't oblivious to the fact that there are very few winners, diba? So AC Energy is a winner, secular trend. As long as you believe in the electric vehicle industry, as long as you believe in the solar farms, then AC Energy and in respect, it might translate to Ayala Corporation to be a buy someday. Diba? Kasi pag mura naman yan, bibilhin yan. So parang AGI, mura yan. Pati yung owner, bumibili, di lang niya alam din kung hanggang saan niya bibilhin yung company. What do you think of Manila Water? Stable lang. So you don't expect like 50% win, but do you expect a 10% win? Oo. So I think like Manila Water, if it falls near 13 below or 12 bucks, people are willing to buy. If it rallies near 14, ngayon 13.60, kung gusto mong lumabas, okay lang din. But you always risk kasi not knowing the peak eh. So it's very hard to really know the peak. Given po na given April pa, darating ang bakuna, 8 months to go, ano kaya mangyari sa gold? Gold is really an alternative to the cheap dollar. So there's cheap dollar globally. As you know, Ayala Land is taking advantage of that. All the banks have taken advantage of the cheap money globally. And sometimes because of all this infinite printing, it has translated to a flurry of people demanding yield. And highest yield assets are stocks. And so some people are willing to defy gravity. Actually, the best money is actually through stocks pa rin. You just have to choose the high quality stocks. So pipiliin mo talaga yung best stocks in the world. Not just in the Philippines. We're talking about best stocks, di ba? So ano yung mga stocks na nag-grow amidst pandemic? So that's what we have been discussing on our global market updates. So online shopping, di ba? So 15x na yung C Limited, 10 to 150. So if C Limited gives you an entry near 100, 110, mas madali kumita dyan. So a lot of people are saying AGI is mas mura pa sa Emperador. Eh di okay, you've seen liquor going up online. kahit may liquor ban. So that is something that you should be a bit thankful for, that you have an opportunity to buy and accumulate AGI even cheaper than the owner's price. The owner has been accumulating 10, 13, 12, and you are able to buy it at 550 or $6. Edi okay. Hi, Nikki. I'm new at stocks. I bought URC at 120 to 135 range. So my average is $130. What's the best selling signal to wait? I'm learning a lot from your channel. Thank you. Okay, so URC, we know there's a very strong support at 120 below. And then, of course, we also know that there are some sellers 140, 150, 160. That said, what is URC? We said that URC is one of the best FMB conglomerates, not just in the Philippines, but we're talking about the entire nation of Southeast Asia. So we're talking about URC, not a Philippine company, but URC is a global giant. So if you can invest in a global giant, you have a future. The same way that AC Energy is a global giant, the same way that we said that Jollibee might be a domestically known company, but a very global giant thinker. So, for companies that have a global mindset, we also like them. Philippine companies that have global mindset is, of course, your ICT. That's why ICT on any drops near 95 below or 98 might be taken advantage of. For URC, it's a sleep well at night company. So you can actually try to sell 135, yung cost mo 135, pwede mo bentang 145. Kung umangat siya, and then yung 120 mo, mura yan, hawakan mo na. So just trail stop. Hold your winners. We don't know how high it can go. Excited na akong mag-trade globally. Thank you. Oo, maraming, we really want you to invest worldwide. So kung gusto niyo mag-invest sa Philippines, always think global din. So ano yung mga Philippine companies na may kayang mag-global winner? So of course, URC is a global winner. Ayala Corporation is a global winner. SM has investments not just in the Philippines, also in China, di ba? So those are, di ba? Kaya niya mag-grow. Grow. Okay, so excited na ako sa dividends ng ACEN. Pag growth company ba, avoid paying dividends, just reinvest it. Actually hindi ako masyadong atat na binabayaran ng cash dividends. Kasi, kung nagbabayad din ng cash dividends, it tells me na yung cash niya, hindi na siya makapag-grow. Dapat mag-grow siya kasi gusto ko mag-invest si Ayala Corporation ng solar farms in India, in Vietnam, in the Philippines. You don't need to pay me cash today. Kasi if you're paying me cash today, it stops you from investing your capital to the future 5 years, di ba? So hindi ako sobrang cash dividends. Pero if the company is mature, like kunwari Coca-Cola ka na, PLDT ka na, Globe ka na, talaga dapat magbayad ka ng dividends. Kasi alam natin na cash flow centric ka eh. So there are companies that I expect to provide dividends. Those are your Meralco, your Manila Water, utility plays, your telecoms are also, di ba? Internet is more important than your, kahit maligo ka. Ano mas importante? May internet or makapagpaligo ka? So for most Filipinos, internet is air. So mas importante ang internet. So telecoms are utilities for me. Now, so that's why I like telecoms. What do you think will be the outlook of Bloom? Casinos are a reopening theme. So tourism industry is a reopening theme. You have to watch out if the companies of Philippines will open up to the world. Syempre, that's the goal. So it's a vaccine play. If you have that vaccine, at least people will feel safe. So actually, the highest beta when it comes to the reopening theme is the airline sector and the casino sector. Alam yan ng lahat ng tao worldwide. So, buong mundo, alam nila yan. Kung gusto nila, mag-open na yung mundo, let's buy Disney na kasi people can finally go to the theme park. Ganun lang yan, ganyan lang laro dyan. Is CNPF a global giant? Well, CNPF today, they're trying to do exports, right? So they're partnering with some OEM. Pag OEM, guys, ang ibig sabihin nun, ano siya? Kunwari ito, iPhone, no? Maraming OEMs dyan sa Taiwan. Ang tawag doon, hindi sila may-ari ng brand. Nakalimutan ko blah blah manufacturer, OEM. Basta back-end ka, parang at the back ka lang. So, yan yung mga trabaho nila Foxconn, nila Epistar, halos lahat ng mga Taiwan, actually. Lahat ng Taiwan. Taiwan at China yung dakilang OEM ng mundo. So, So OEM has smaller margins. Syempre, kapag ikaw may-ari ng brand, kunwari, ikaw si Century Tuna, may branding ka, ikaw may-ari ng brand mo, magkano yung OEM, private label is mas malaki yung panalo ng branded kesa sa OEM. Pero CNPF, it's good that at least they're doing OEM para lumalaki yung capacity niya to produce these coconut. So after a successful foray with Vita Coco, they want to also do a lot of coconut supply to the world. So okay naman yun. I think like CNPF is a growing company, ginagaya niya si URC, and in that light, I think that CNPF is trying to be a mini URC, so that's good. What do you think will be Ghost Month? Will it affect the entire stock market? To be honest, so what? So what kung bumagsak yung market? Bagsak na tayo eh. 6,000, bagsak tayo 5,000? O di sige, sino tinakot mo? Pabagsakin mo na yung Ayala Corporation, tsaka SM, di ba? Yun lang naman yun eh. Kung gusto mo naman pabagsakin Pilipinas, madali lang. SM Prime, bagsakan mo yan. Sige lang, pabagsakin mo kasi may cash flows naman yan eh. O di ganun lang. Original equipment manufacturer, thank you for the answer. Yes, that is what OEM means. Should I buy more vaccine play stocks, Cebu Pacific, DNL? The thing about these vaccine, actually, hindi siya vaccine play. It's a reopening play, no? Cebu Pacific is a reopening play. It might take 2 years. So this is a forecast lang. People are saying tourism industry happens in 2 years, 1 year, 3 years, nobody knows. So I'd say that all these bad earnings of these giant airline companies are known. It is well known. So siguro it's a matter of you don't know kung kailan yan aangat. That's the question. If you buy at 39, 38, kailan to magiging 60 or 50, di ko rin alam. Pero yung downside mo, it's capped at what? 35, 36, di ba? So parang for a 10 to 20% crash, versus a 100% reward, people are willing to, sige, bet na ako kahit na 10,000 muna or 20,000. Depende sa pera nila, di ba? So, it really is dependent on your time frame. So, there is a question. Hindi naman importante yung lasa ng isang Argentina corned beef. Kung maraming kumakain nun, edi yun na talaga yung importante. Kahit gusto mo San Miguel Pure Foods, kung may bumibili naman ng corned beef ng Argentina, hindi natin walang sinabi yung panlasa natin sa CNPF. Okay, agreed. Pero unrestricted earnings kasi yung kay ASEN, meaning good pa rin naman ata. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Thank you. Actually, in the Philippines, people like dividends. I'm just saying na it's good that you have dividends, but it's not the sole end all and be all for you to invest in a company. Maraming companies dyan na hindi nagbabayad ng dividends, pero kung mag-appreciate naman 100%, pwede na rin yun. Kung nagbigay naman siya ng dividends, pasalamat na lang tayo. Do you think the Bayanihan Act would be beneficial for the Philippine stocks? Actually, bumagsak yung mga financials dahil sa Bayanihan Act 2. Bumagsak yung mga BDO, BPI, di ba? Kasi 60-day loan extension. Good siya for us as a consumer. Bad siya for the banks. Pero okay lang yun, 60 days lang, 2 months lang yun. Where do you peg the support sa PSEI? Siguro, bumagsak tayo ng 5.7, no? Actually, wala masyadong downside yung Pilipinas. Kawawa talaga tayo. Wala lang talagang may gusto sa atin. So, SM mo, 900 ngayon, kung babagsak ng 800, di 10%, 6,000, bagsakan mo ng 600, 5.4. Hindi naman masyado din problema. What do you think of home? Pangit yung earnings niya, di ba? Recently. So, binagsakan siya. Wala Kuwawa sa Pilipinas, walang pera mga tao, hindi makapag-home furnishing reti. Unlike US, ang daming, actually nakagulat din kasi US market, sobrang lakas ng mga earnings. So, parang tayo lang ba yung naghihirap? Di ba sila nababankrupt dun? What's the outlook of Ali in the next 5 years or so? Mahirap masabi, pero in my view, property should not be a sell in the next 5 years, but it could be a sell in the next 5 months. So yun lang, 5 months versus 5 years. Properties kasi, if you're a real estate agent, mas alam nila yan. So lumabas naman sa earnings na walang pera yung mga tao, di sila makabili ng properties today. So the default is a potential risk. Kaya nga alam na rin ng banks, naglagay na ng provision loan risk for the, most of the banks have increased the NPL, the net provision loss. So, they are really expecting that a lot of Filipinos might have a difficulty in ensuring those payments. So yun. There's a question, buti nga 60 days lang, hindi 6 months like what the congressman wanted. O yun nga, 60 days. So 2 months lang. So meron kang loan extension program for 2 months. The government is giving all the Filipinos an ability to make their payments in their credit cards and their consumer loans extended. So yun lang. I think mahirap mag-say in the next 5 years kung ano mangyayari. But what I can tell you is that properties are of course an essential. So imposible na hindi ka bibilin ng bahay someday, especially if you can afford naman. So really it's a matter of affordability, and housing is a necessary component for every person out there. So when they have a family, alangan naman tumira pa rin sila with their own parents. As much as possible, they want to save up for their own homes or their own condominiums. So I think that is an essential need in the future. Yun lang. The question is there an oversupply? So Ayala Land already knows that maybe there is an oversupply if they can't sell well. So they stop muna the construction. So actually the Ayala properties, the fact that they delayed all these construction, property development and all the capex expenditures is actually a big problem for construction companies. Yun. So, patay din si M-Wide, tsaka si EEI. Yun. Okay, global update na tayo. Matagal na to. Bye-bye. Thank you very much.